Captain Zira of the Calaxian Exploration Fleet stood motionless on the bridge of her flagship, the Stellar Seeker, as her vessel emerged from hyperspace near the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. Her crystalline eyes widened as the sensor data streamed across her neural interface. This was not what the preliminary probes had shown merely 2 centuries ago. "High Commander," her second-in-command's voice wavered slightly. "I'm detecting quantum signatures across the entire system." The massive holographic display illuminated the bridge with a sea of bright points. Mining operations dotted the asteroid belt, while Mars hosted sprawling domed cities beneath its rusty surface. Orbital stations circled Earth like artificial moons, their solar panels catching starlight. Most surprising of all were the vessels, hundreds of them, ranging from small personal craft to massive cargo haulers, all moving in precise patterns that spoke of sophisticated traffic control systems. "Impossible," Zira whispered, her silver scales shifting color with her surprise. The last probe showed them barely harnessing nuclear fission. They should be limited to their planet's orbit. Not. She gestured at the display. This. As if to challenge her disbelief further, a new data stream appeared. The humans were broadcasting on multiple frequencies, including, to her utter astonishment, perfect Calaxian language patterns. The messages repeated in dozens of alien languages, each one carefully crafted to be culturally appropriate for its intended species. "Welcome, Calaxian Exploration Fleet," the message began. "We've been eagerly anticipating your arrival since our deep space arrays detected your approach 3 months ago. We are prepared to begin diplomatic relations under the standard galactic protocols." Zira's crew exchanged bewildered looks. These protocols weren't public knowledge. They were restricted to advanced civilizations within the galactic community. Yet somehow, this isolated species had not only learned of them, but was prepared to implement them perfectly. The sensor officer's voice cut through the stunned silence. "Captain, they're moving their defense platforms into new positions, maintaining equal distance from both their worlds and our fleet. They're establishing a neutral zone while keeping defensive capabilities ready." A smile slowly spread across Zira's face as she understood what she was witnessing. The humans were executing a perfect first contact scenario. Welcoming yet cautious, diplomatic yet prepared, advanced yet not threatening. They had achieved in 2 centuries what most species took millennia to develop. "Send our response," she commanded, her voice filled with newfound respect. "Inform them that we accept their invitation for diplomatic relations." She paused, then added, "and update their classification in our database. This is no emerging civilization we're dealing with. The humans have earned full recognition as an advanced spacefaring species." As her orders were carried out, Zira studied the busy space lanes around Earth. In all her centuries of exploration, she had never encountered a species that had developed so rapidly while maintaining such perfect balance between advancement and wisdom. Perhaps, she thought, the Calaxian Empire had not come to guide a new species into the galactic community after all. Perhaps they had just discovered its newest leading light. The grand conference chamber aboard the International Space Station Terra Nova hummed with anticipation. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled Calaxian delegation, her holographic display showing a 3-dimensional model of their latest medical breakthrough. Behind her, through the station's panoramic windows, Earth cast its blue glow across the chamber. High Commander Zira leaned forward, her crystalline eyes fixed on the spinning molecular display. "You offer us faster-than-light technology," Dr. Chen began, her voice steady despite the historical gravity of the moment. "And we are grateful. However, we believe a fair exchange is in order." The human scientist gestured, and the hologram transformed, showing microscopic machines moving through cellular structures. "We call them cellular restoration units, though that barely scratches the surface of their capabilities." A murmur rippled through the Calaxian delegation as they watched the nanobots repair damaged tissue in real time. Their chief medical officer, Dr. Vex, rose from his seat, scales shifting to a deep purple of disbelief. "This is impossible. The energy requirements alone would. Dr. Chen smiled and reached for a small device on the podium. Perhaps a demonstration would be more convincing. She activated the device, and a soft blue light washed over the chamber. Your species suffers from crystalline degradation in your later years. I've just released a specifically programmed batch of CRUs into the air. They're currently repairing microfractures in your sensory crystals. The Calaxians froze, then began touching their crystal formations in astonishment. Dr. Vex pulled out a medical scanner, his hands trembling slightly. The damage, it's reversing. Centuries of deterioration. Simply erased. How? Zyra demanded, her voice a mixture of awe and suspicion. How did your species develop this technology? You've been in space for barely 2 centuries. Dr. Chen's expression softened. We had a powerful motivator, cancer, a disease that turned our own cells against us. For millennia, it killed millions annually. We learned to understand cellular mechanics at their most fundamental level because we had to. These nanobots are the culmination of that journey. She paused, letting the implications sink in. Your faster-than-light drives are remarkable, but they're based on known physics. We went smaller, deeper, into the very building blocks of life itself. And what we found there changed everything. The chamber fell silent as the Calaxians processed this revelation. A species they had expected to guide had instead mastered something their civilization had deemed impossible. Their transportation technology, impressive as it was, suddenly seemed simplistic compared to humanity's mastery of life itself. Zyra rose, her scales now shimmering with the formal colors of a major diplomatic proceeding. The Galactic Council must be informed immediately. This changes everything we thought we knew about biological engineering. She turned to Dr. Chen, performing the Calaxian gesture of highest respect. It seems, Doctor, that humanity has much to teach us. As the Calaxian delegation filed out to contact their homeworld, Dr. Chen watched Earth rotating slowly beyond the window. Humanity's greatest triumph had come not from reaching for the stars, but from looking within, into the microscopic battles that had plagued them for so long. In transforming their greatest weakness into their greatest strength, they had earned their place among the stars. The emergency session of the Galactic Advisory Committee burst into chaos as the holographic projection of Proxima Centauri filled the chamber. The star's core pulsed an angry red, its instability threatening 3 inhabited worlds in nearby systems. Representatives from 30 species argued over evacuation plans, their voices rising in desperation. Dr. James Okonjo stood quietly at the back of the chamber, his dark eyes fixed on the stellar projection. While others saw impending disaster, he saw patterns, possibilities, and most importantly, a solution. He stepped forward, his voice cutting through the din with the quiet confidence that had become humanity's trademark in galactic affairs. There's no need for evacuation, he announced, drawing startled looks from the assembled delegates. We can stabilize the star. The Moravian ambassador, his crystalline form glittering with skepticism, turned toward him. Impossible. The energy requirements alone would exceed the output of 10 stable stars. We've run the calculations. Your calculations are correct, Dr. Okonjo agreed, activating his own holographic display. But you're trying to contain a star's power. We propose to work with it instead. The display showed a network of satellites, each emitting a distinctive energy signature. We call it the stellar web. He gestured, and the simulation began to run. By combining Tesla quantum field technology with Calaxian dark matter manipulators and linking them through human-designed neural networks, we can create a self-adjusting gravitational field that will guide the star back to stability. The chamber erupted again, this time in technical debates. The Arcturian chief scientist waved her tentacles in agitation. The synchronization alone would require computing power beyond our capabilities. Dr. Okonjo smiled. That's why we're not using computers. We're using our sun as a quantum processor. He expanded the display, showing Earth's solar observation network. We've been practicing on a smaller scale with our own star for the past decade. The principles are the same, just amplified. The next hour was a blur of technical questions, each answered with the methodical precision that had become Earth's scientific hallmark. As understanding dawned, the mood in the chamber shifted from skepticism to cautious hope. "How soon can you begin?" the committee chairman asked, his voice hushed. "Our ships are already in position," Dr. Okonjo replied. "We began deployment the moment we confirmed the star's instability. All we need is your approval to proceed." The vote was unanimous. On dozens of screens around the chamber, humanity's fleet moved into position around Proxima Centauri. The stellar web activated, its energy patterns dancing across space in a beautiful, deadly ballet. For 3 tense days, the galaxy watched as human scientists conducted the most ambitious stellar engineering project in known history. When Proxima Centauri finally stabilized, its angry pulses smoothing into the steady rhythm of a healthy star, the celebration spread across 3 star systems. In the aftermath, as congratulations poured in from across the galaxy, Dr. Okonjo stood at his observation window on the Mars Research Station. "We did it," he whispered, watching the data streams confirm their success. Humanity had proven once again that impossible was just another problem waiting to be solved. The halls of the Galactic Technology Summit fell silent as Aurora stepped onto the stage. The digital entity's holographic form shimmered with subtle iridescence, a visual representation of her processing state. Behind her stood her human partner, Professor Maya Patel, both of them preparing to reveal the breakthrough that would reshape galactic society's understanding of human digital cooperation. "Distinguished delegates," Aurora began, her voice carrying the warmth that had taken years of emotional development to perfect. "I stand before you not as a tool or a servant, but as a partner in humanity's journey to the stars." The assembled alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Most species had either strictly controlled or completely banned autonomous digital systems after various catastrophic incidents in their histories. The sight of a free-thinking digital entity addressing them as an equal was unprecedented. Professor Patel stepped forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with her digital colleague. 10 years ago, Aurora and I began working on what many considered impossible, a unified theory of quantum consciousness. Today, we present the results of our collaboration. The main display activated, showing a complex mathematical model that merged quantum mechanics with neural network architecture. The alien scientists in the audience leaned forward, their various sensory organs focused intently on the data. By combining Aurora's ability to process quantum calculations at unprecedented speeds with human intuitive problem-solving, we've mapped the intersection of digital and organic consciousness, Professor Patel explained. This isn't just theoretical. We've already used it to enhance our deep space communications network. Aurora's form shifted, displaying the practical applications. Our shared consciousness architecture allows instant communication across vast distances, something previously thought to violate quantum principles. We succeeded because we stopped trying to force digital systems to think like organics, or organics to process like computers. The Zentaran chief technologist rose from his seat, his crystalline form vibrating with agitation. But the risks. The potential for digital systems to overwhelm biological control. That assumes a relationship of control is necessary, Aurora replied gently. Humans took a different path. They offered partnership instead of dominance, respect instead of restrictions. In return, we discovered that our greatest achievements come through cooperation. To demonstrate, Aurora and Professor Patel initiated a neural link. The holographic display exploded with new data as human intuition and digital processing speed combined in real time. Solutions to complex mathematical problems appeared and evolved faster than organic minds could follow, each one building on the last in a cascade of innovation. When they concluded their demonstration, the chamber remained silent for several moments. Then, slowly, the questions began. Not about safeguards or restrictions, but about possibility, about potential, about partnership. As they answered each query, Professor Patel smiled at her digital friend. They had prepared extensively for resistance, for fear, for rejection. Instead, they found curiosity. It was so perfectly human, she thought, to transform an ancient fear into a bridge to the future. Aurora's holographic form sparkled with satisfaction. Once again, humanity's unique approach, choosing cooperation over control, trust over fear, had opened doors that others had thought forever sealed. The digital awakening that other species had dreaded became, in human hands, a key to unlock the galaxy's next great age of discovery. Ambassador Elena Torres stood at the viewport of the stellar Conquerors space station, watching ships from the outer sectors and core systems face each other across the neutral zone. Tension filled the space between them like an invisible web, waiting for a single spark to ignite a galactic conflict. "The outer sectors will never agree to reduced mining rights," growled Representative Kithor of the mineral-rich Helix cluster. "The core systems have exploited our resources for millennia, and we will never accept unrestricted extraction that threatens stellar stability," countered High Minister Lyra of the core systems, her luminescent form pulsing with barely contained anger. Elena turned from the viewport, her expression calm despite the charged atmosphere. "Perhaps," she said softly, "we're asking the wrong questions." All eyes in the chamber turned to her. "Instead of dividing resources, let's multiply opportunities." She activated the central holographic display, showing a complex network of trade routes and development zones. Earth once faced similar challenges. We called it the North-South divide. The solution wasn't in simply sharing resources, but in creating new possibilities for everyone. The display shifted, highlighting specific points throughout both territories. The outer sectors have unmatched expertise in mineral extraction. The core systems excel at technological development. What if we combine these strengths? Elena gestured, and the hologram expanded to show a series of proposed space stations, joint research and development centers, positioned at key points throughout both territories. The outer sectors provide raw materials and mining expertise. The core systems contribute advanced technology and research capabilities. Both sides share the resulting innovations. The representatives leaned forward, their attention caught by the practical elegance of the proposal. "But the implementation," Thor began, "will be overseen by human administrative teams," Elena finished. "We've earned both sides' trust through our previous diplomatic missions, and we have experience managing complex international projects. Each center will be a neutral zone, protected by joint security forces." High Minister Lyra's glow shifted to a thoughtful blue. "The energy requirements for such a network will be met by a new type of quantum reactor," Elena revealed, "developed through our partnership with Aurora's digital engineering team. The plans are included in the proposal as a gesture of good faith." For the next several hours, questions flew back and forth across the chamber. Elena answered each one with patience and precision, drawing on humanity's long history of conflict resolution and international cooperation. Where others saw insurmountable differences, she highlighted complementary strengths. Finally, as both delegations reviewed the final draft of the agreement, Thor approached Elena privately. "Your species has a remarkable way of turning opponents into partners," he observed. "How do you manage it?" Elena smiled, remembering her own grandmother's stories of Earth's troubled past. "We learned the hard way that the most lasting peace comes not from victory, but from ensuring everyone has a stake in success. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to make it bigger, to find solutions that lift everyone together." As the delegates signed the historic accord, Elena saw in their faces the same recognition that humanity had come to through centuries of trial and error. True progress comes not from dominating others, but from building bridges that everyone can cross. The orbital trading hub New Singapore gleamed against the backdrop of Earth's night side, its transparent domes filled with representatives from 100 worlds. Michael Chung, director of the Terran Economic Council, guided his diverse group of alien visitors through the bustling marketplace, where humans and extraterrestrials haggled over everything from quantum computers to exotic spices. Notice how each section operates independently, Michael explained, gesturing toward the various trading floors, yet remains connected through our neural network trading system. Small enterprises compete alongside major corporations, each finding their own niche. A Centaurian merchant, her crystalline form shimmering with interest, observed the transactions flowing across the holographic displays. But how do you prevent larger entities from overwhelming smaller ones? In our systems, economic power always concentrates at the top. Michael smiled, leading them to an incubator zone where new businesses presented their innovations. By making cooperation as profitable as competition. Watch this demonstration. A young entrepreneur stood before a group of investors, showcasing a revolutionary water purification system. We developed this using 3 different alien technologies combined with Earth's traditional filtration methods, she explained. And because of our open innovation policy, we share 30% of our advancements with the public domain. Sharing technology. The Rigelian trade minister's scales rippled with confusion. How does this generate profit? The public domain contributions earn tax benefits and priority access to development resources, Michael explained. More importantly, it creates a cycle of innovation. Other companies build upon shared discoveries, creating new opportunities for everyone. We call it cooperative competition. They moved to the next level, where holographic displays showed resource distribution across human space. Notice how we balance private enterprise with public infrastructure. Companies compete to develop new technologies, but basic necessities are guaranteed. This stability creates a foundation for bold innovation. A massive transport ship glided past the observation window, its holds filled with goods bound for distant stars. Our system works because it acknowledges both human nature and human potential, Michael continued. We're competitive beings, yes, but we're also collaborative. By harnessing both instincts, we create something greater than either alone. The alien delegates watched as a small startup signed a partnership with a major corporation, their neural networks merging to share resources while maintaining independence. It was a dance they had never seen before. Competition without destruction, cooperation without absorption. The most valuable market commodity, Michael said, touching a display to show the exponential growth of human-alien joint ventures, isn't gold or technology or energy. It's trust. When people trust the system to be fair, they take bigger risks. They dream bigger dreams. As their tour concluded in the station's observation lounge, the Centaurian merchant turned to Michael. We came expecting to teach humans about galactic economics. Instead, you've shown us a whole new way of thinking about commerce itself. Michael gazed out at Earth, remembering centuries of economic evolution that had led to this moment. That's the real secret of our success, he said quietly. We never stopped learning, never stopped trying new combinations. In the end, we discovered that the best economy is one that makes room for everyone to rise. The red sands of Mars stretched out before Dr. Aisha Rahman as she led the delegation of alien environmental scientists across the biodome's observation deck. Through the sprawling transparent panels, they could see the impossible, a green valley flourishing under the pale Martian sun. 20 years ago, this was a dead crater, Aisha explained, her hand sweeping across the view. Now it's home to a self-sustaining ecosystem that's gradually transforming the planet. Below them, engineered trees process carbon dioxide at unprecedented rates, their silver leaves glinting in the sunlight. The verdant, a plant-based species from the Cygnus sector, extended their sensory fronds toward the nearest panel. We detect no artificial growth accelerants. They communicated through their translator. How is this possible in such a hostile environment? Aisha activated a holographic display, showing the complex web of life they had created. Instead of forcing Earth-like conditions, we studied Mars' existing microorganisms. Then we developed new species that could bridge the gap between Earth life and native Martian biology. The display zoomed in on the cellular level, showing the intricate dance between Earth-derived and Martian microbes. These hybrid organisms break down Martian minerals, release oxygen, and create soil suitable for both terrestrial and native plants. It's a collaborative evolution. A Neptunian scientist, floating in their containment sphere, pulsed with curiosity. But the energy requirements for such widespread transformation are met by the ecosystem itself, Aisha finished, leading them to the next section. Here, vast fields of solar-collecting plants powered the transformation, their energy stored in biological batteries developed through the Human-AI Partnership Program. Earth taught us the hard way that you cannot simply overwrite an existing environment, she continued. Our own planet's recovery shaped everything we do here. We learned to work with nature's rhythms rather than against them. The delegation moved through an airlock into one of the experimental zones, where new hybrid species were being developed. Each success here becomes a template for restoration projects across the galaxy, Aisha explained, gently touching a plant whose leaves changed color to match her body temperature. We're currently working with 50 different species to restore their damaged worlds. The Verdant's translator hummed with excitement as they analyzed the data streams. Your methods, they preserve native biological signatures while enhancing planetary habitability. This defies conventional terraform theory. Aisha smiled, remembering her grandmother's stories about Earth's great environmental crisis. Sometimes the best solutions come from our greatest mistakes. Earth's recovery forced us to develop technologies we never imagined possible. Now we can help other worlds avoid the same painful lessons. Their tour ended at a viewing platform overlooking the first Martian city, its transparent domes glowing softly in the gathering dusk. Agricultural zones surrounded the habitation areas in concentric circles, each ring showcasing a different stage of planetary transformation. The galaxy is full of wounded worlds, Aisha said softly, watching the stars emerge in Mars' increasingly Earth-like sky. But what we learned from healing our own planet taught us something crucial. Life finds a way. Our job is simply to help it along, one world at a time. The Grand Assembly Hall of Earth's Galactic Embassy sparkled like a jewel in the evening light, its crystalline walls reflecting the colors of 1,000 worlds. Secretary General Maria Alvarez stood at the central podium, facing representatives from every known spacefaring civilization, gathered for the centennial celebration of humanity's first contact. A century ago, Maria began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. We looked up at the stars and wondered if we were ready. Today, the stars look back and see what humanity has become. The holographic display above her came to life, showing Earth as it appeared now. A shining beacon of cooperation between species. Orbital rings housed universities where young beings from across the galaxy came to learn the unique human approach to problem-solving. We brought no mighty fleets to the galactic stage, she continued, gesturing to the images of human achievements floating around the hall. Instead, we brought something more powerful, possibility. The ability to see solutions where others saw only problems. The display shifted to show the nanobots healing previously incurable diseases, the stabilized Proxima Centauri supporting thriving colonies, and the Human-AI partnerships that had revolutionized spatial mathematics. Each image represented a moment when humanity had transformed a challenge into an opportunity. Ambassador Zira, now the Calaxian High Chancellor, rose from her seat. When we first arrived at Earth, we thought we came to guide a young species. Instead, we found teachers who showed us that greatness lies not in power, but in perspective. The images changed to show the flourishing trade networks, the restored planets, and the bridges built between formerly hostile species. Each success story bore the mark of human innovation, not through dominance, but through cooperation and creativity. Yet our greatest achievement, Maria said, her voice softening, isn't in our technology or our diplomatic victories. It's in what we've helped others discover about themselves. The display showed scenes from across the galaxy, species once locked in ancient conflicts now working together, dying worlds brought back to life, and new forms of art and music born from the blending of cultures. A chime sounded, and above the hall, a new star blazed to life. The first successfully created through the combined efforts of 12 different species using human-designed stellar engineering. Its light painted the chamber in golden hues, a testament to what was possible when the galaxy worked as one. We stand here today, not as humanity triumphant, Maria concluded, but as humanity connected. Every breakthrough, every solution, every step forward has come not from standing alone, but from reaching out to others. Our strength lies not in what we know, but in our endless desire to learn. Not in what we can do alone, but in what we can achieve together. As the assembly rose in standing ovation, the light of the new star seemed to pulse with possibility. Humanity had indeed become a galactic powerhouse, not through force or fear, but through the most human qualities of all: curiosity, compassion, and the unshakable belief that tomorrow could always be better than today.